Guardians from Little Egg Harbor, New Jersey. Our community is a very special place. What makes our community unique is that it is located within two very environmentally sensitive ecosystems, the Pinelands National Reserve and the Jacques Cousteau National Estuarine Reserve.
In the beginning of the school year, we were studying ecology, focusing on the Pinelands of New Jersey. We learned that
the Pinelands is 1.1 million acres of forest located in southern New Jersey. The Pinelands also contains over 12,000 acres of pygmy forest.
Underlying the Pinelands is the Cohansey Aquifer, which is a vast reservoir containing approximately 17 trillion gallons of some of the purest water in the country.
The Pinelands is also home to a number of threatened and endangered plant and animal species such as the small yellow pond lily, the fringed yellow-eyed grass, the peregrine falcon, the timber rattlesnake, and the pine barrens tree frog.
The Pinelands of New Jersey is such a special and unique place that in 1978, the Pinelands became our country's first national reserve. In 1983, the area was designated as a U.S. Biosphere Reserve by the United Nations. And finally, in 1988, the Pinelands earned the title of International Biosphere Reserve.
While studying the Pinelands in class, Courtney brought in articles from the local newspaper about the damage being done to the Pinelands by off-road vehicles. We could not understand how an area that has been recognized not only by our own country as a unique and special place, but also by citizens from around the world, could be so disrespected by the people who live there.
So we decided to investigate. We wanted to know exactly what kind of destruction off-road vehicles caused. If damage does occur, can it be repaired, or if there is anything that can be taken to prevent the damage from happening in the first place.
We continued to research and learn about the Pinelands. We contacted Mr. Tom Dunn from the Pinelands Alliance Committee to ask him to guide us to the area known as the Hampton Furnace. We wanted to see the damage being done firsthand. Not only did Mr. Tom Dunn agree to guide us, he invited a world-renowned landscape photographer and Pinelands enthusiast, Mr. Al Horner, to come along.
When we reached Hampton Furnace, Mr. Dunn and Mr. Horner took us to a vernal pond. Vernal ponds are areas that fill up with water in the spring, forming ponds that are essential for breeding of many of the endangered plants and species that call the Pinelands home. Mr. Dunn showed us plants that are native to this area and explained the environmental conditions that they need to survive.
Then we visited an area that used to be a vernal pond. This area of the Pinelands that Mr. Horner has labeled the Scar. We now know why Mr. Horner calls this area the Scar. We could not believe our eyes. We were shocked and very saddened to compare what a vernal pond should look like and what we are looking at. Mr. Horner is right. This is a scar on the Pinelands.
This scar was created by off-road vehicles leaving the defined trails, entering the vernal pond, spinning their tires, digging up the soil, destroying plant life, and ruining the animals' habitats. In addition to the damage done to the ecosystem, bottles, beer and soda cans, filthy rags, towels, and old shirts lay in the mud and rot.
We asked Al Horner and Tom Dunn if the Pinelands could ever recover from this devastation. They both feel that the area would recover over time, but not to its original state.
Hundreds of people a year use the trails and waterways respectfully. It is a select few who do not follow the rules that are already in place to protect this unique ecosystem.
There are also rules in place to protect the Pinelands.
When asked why they do not follow the rules, off-roaders respond by saying that generation after generation of their families have gone off-roading. When asked if they realize the damage that they are doing, they respond that they only ride in one area. What they do not know is that other groups of off-roaders are doing the same thing in other areas, like Apple Pie Hill, the highest elevation in the Pinelands.
Off-roaders say that there is no place for them to ride and that they will continue to ride in the Pinelands until a place is provided for them to ride. What we would like to know is why off-roaders feel that citizens of New Jersey should be responsible for providing them with a place to ride. Why would you even consider buying an off-road vehicle if you do not have the property necessary to use the vehicle?
We feel that the Pinelands of New Jersey belongs to all of us. The Pinelands is a unique ecosystem that should be respected, protected, and preserved for all of us and future generations. In order to achieve our goal of protecting and preserving the Pinelands, the laws that are in place must be enforced.
This would require more patrolling of the areas where the damage is being done, especially on weekends when most off-roaders are out riding. Fines should be increased. Trails should be clearly marked so there is no confusion on where it is legal to ride and where it is not.
Finally, the community needs to be educated about the Pinelands. This should begin in our schools. Students should be taught to respect and appreciate the environment in which they live. Developing environmental stewardship in young children will remain with them throughout their lives.
Adults should also be educated. There are a variety of educational programs offered through the Pinelands Alliance, the Pinelands Commission, and at state parks located within the Pinelands that anyone can participate in.
If you are visiting southern New Jersey, make sure to visit the Pinelands.
It is definitely worth the trip, but remember to be respectful. We want to protect and preserve the Pinelands for the citizens of today, tomorrow, and beyond.